My 16-year-old niece called me at 2 a.m. after her stepmother humiliated her at her pool party. And when I confronted the stepmother, her blatant lies made me dig deeper. Fast forward to today, I just uncovered a dark family secret that is about to destroy everything she's built. I was fast asleep at 2 a.m. when my niece Asha called me. "I'm never going back to my dad's house," she kept repeating over and over. I sat up in bed and tried to calm her down. Asha had been staying with her dad and new stepmother Anya for the summer. She was 16 and usually pretty level-headed, so hearing her this upset made my stomach drop. After about 10 minutes of gentle reassurance, she finally managed to spit it out. She told me she was at a gas station near their house. The 5-hour drive gave me time to think. When I picked her up, she was still in her pajamas and holding a plastic bag with what looked like torn-up photos inside. For a while, it was completely silent, with nothing but my white girl music playlist playing in the background. And after an hour, when she finally spoke, my blood went cold. "So, you know how Anya is always talking about family traditions?" she asked, voice shaking. I nodded because Anya never shut up about how the Devi family did things. "Well, apparently they have this thing called Red Week." My hands tightened on the steering wheel. I knew exactly what Red Week was because I'd married into the Devi family 20 years ago before divorcing out of it. Asha continued, "Anya got her period and told me it was time to participate in the family tradition. You see, in their culture, when you're on your period, you don't get access to any feminine products unless you complete a list of household tasks. The list could be anything from reorganizing the garage to scrubbing the baseboards with a toothbrush. I told her I needed pads and she laughed at me," Asha said. "She said every Devi woman has done Red Week and it teaches humility and strength. But that wasn't even the worst part, because that's when Asha told me about the pool party. Anya had invited the entire extended family over for their annual summer gathering. Asha had been trying desperately to finish her task list, but there was no way anyone could complete it in time. When she asked again for products, Anya told her she hadn't earned them yet. I bled through my white shorts in front of everyone," Asha whispered. "Cousins, aunts, uncles, even Dad's boss was there. Anya had made her stay at the party for 3 more hours. Asha described standing by the pool trying to hide the stain while relatives pretended not to notice. Some of the older women gave her sympathetic looks, but no one said anything. When Asha finally begged to go inside and change, Anya had announced to everyone that every woman in this family has gone through Red Week and it builds character. Asha needs to learn humility like all the women before her." That's when Asha had snapped. She ran to her room and destroyed every family photo she could find, before climbing out her window and running to the gas station to call me. As soon as we got home, I told Asha to go inside and rest. And the second I tucked her into bed, I got back in my car and drove straight to my brother's house. I didn't give any warning, didn't even knock. Just walked straight in and found them having breakfast like nothing had happened. "Sarah?" My brother Tom looked surprised. "What are you doing here? Are we really still torturing our daughters in the name of tradition?" I kept my voice steady, but my hands were trembling. Anya stood up and crossed her arms. "Asha is being dramatic. Every woman in this family—" "Shut the F up," I cut her off. "I went through Red Week 20 years ago. So did cousin Talika. So did Tom's first wife. You want to know why she really left you, Tom?" Tom's face went red. "It made you strong, didn't it? Asha's just too soft, not like the rest of us." I pulled out my phone and showed them the group chat I'd started at 3 a.m. 12 women from the Devi family had already responded with their own Red Week horror stories. Talika had screenshots from her therapy sessions. Tom's first wife had written a detailed account. My own story was there too, about bleeding through my dress at a wedding when I was 19. "I'm sending this to every single person in this family," I said. "Then I'm calling CPS, and then I'm calling my lawyer about custody modification." Anya's face went white, then red, then purple. She grabbed a vase from the counter and hurled it at the wall. The crash made Tom jump back. Shards of ceramic scattered across the kitchen floor. I stepped over them and kept walking toward the door. "You can't take her!" Tom shouted, following me outside. "She's my daughter!" I turned around on the front lawn. Neighbors were starting to peek through their curtains. "Watch me." Tom grabbed my arm. I yanked it away and got in my car. He pounded on the window as I backed out of the driveway. In my rearview mirror, I saw Anya dragging him back inside. My phone started buzzing before I even reached the highway. Tom, Anya, unknown numbers. I ignored them all and drove straight to my lawyer's office. Margaret had helped with my divorce years ago. She squeezed me in between appointments. "Emergency custody modification," I said, dropping into the chair across from her desk. "My niece is being abused." Margaret pulled out a legal pad. I told her everything. Red Week, the pool party, the humiliation. She wrote fast, asking questions about documentation and witnesses. "The group chat helps," she said, "but we need more. Medical records, therapy notes, anything official." I forwarded her the chat screenshots. "I'll get whatever you need. File a CPS report first," Margaret instructed. "Today. Then we petition for emergency custody. Tom will fight it." My phone rang again. This time it was my mother. I let it go to voicemail. The CPS office was downtown in a gray building that smelled like old coffee. I filled out forms for 2 hours. The caseworker, a tired-looking woman named Greta, took notes while I explained Red Week. "Cultural practices can be complicated," she said carefully. "This isn't culture," I snapped. "It's abuse disguised as tradition." Greta scheduled a home visit for the next day. I drove home feeling like I'd swallowed rocks. Asha was awake, sitting at my kitchen table with a mug of tea. "Did you really go over there?" I nodded and sat down beside her. "Filed a CPS report too, and called my lawyer." Her eyes went wide. "Dad's going to freak out. Let him." We spent the afternoon going through the group chat responses. Talika had sent therapy session notes detailing anxiety and bathroom-related trauma from her Red Week experience. Tom's first wife, Rebecca, had written 3 pages about why she really left. Another cousin described getting a kidney infection because she couldn't access products for a week. "I didn't know it happened to so many of us," Asha whispered. My phone rang again. This time it was my brother's work number. door. I answered on speaker. Sarah, what the hell are you doing? Tom's voice was low and angry. Anya just got a call about CPS? Protecting your daughter, I said. From what? A family tradition? You're overreacting like you always do. Am I? Should I read you Rebecca's account of her red week? Silence. Then, that's different. How? Rebecca was always dramatic. Asha's strong like you were. She just needs to toughen up. Asha's face crumpled. I grabbed the phone off speaker. She's 16, Tom. 16. And you let your wife humiliate her in front of 40 people. It builds character. You turned out fine. I spent years in therapy. The words exploded out of me. I still can't wear white pants. I still panic when my period's late because I'm terrified of being caught without products. That's not character, Tom. That's trauma. He hung up. Asha was crying silently. I hugged her tight. We ordered pizza and watched movies until she fell asleep on the couch. At midnight, my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. You're destroying this family. Drop the CPS report or you'll regret it. A.D. I screenshotted it and forwarded it to Margaret. The next morning, Anya called from Tom's phone. I almost didn't answer but decided to record the conversation. Sarah, let's be reasonable, she said, voice syrupy sweet. Asha's being dramatic. Every Devi woman has done Red Week. It's been our tradition for 50 years. Then it's 50 years too long, I said. You're poisoning her against her culture, against her family. I'm protecting her from abuse. Anya's voice hardened. You have no idea what you're starting. The whole family will turn against you. You'll be alone. I'd rather be alone than complicit. She hung up. An hour later, my mother showed up at my door. She looked tired, older than her 70 years. Sarah, this needs to stop, she said, settling onto my couch. Family business stays in the family. Mom, they're hurting kids. It's their way. You married into it. You knew. I was 19. I didn't know anything except that I loved my husband. Then Red Week happened and he told me to stop being dramatic about it. Mom sighed. Tom called me. He's very upset. Anya's beside herself. Good. Sarah. Her voice turned sharp. You're going to tear this family apart. The family's already torn apart. I'm just making it visible. She left without saying goodbye. That afternoon, CPS showed up for their home visit. Greta asked Asha questions while I sat in the corner. Asha told her everything. The task list, the pool party, how Anya had laughed when she begged for products. Has this happened before? Greta asked. Asha nodded. Anya made me do a mini version when I was 13, just for a day. She said it was practice. I hadn't known that. My hands clenched into fists. Greta took photos of the torn pictures Asha had brought. She made copies of the group chat screenshots. She wrote down names of witnesses from the pool party. We'll interview your father and stepmother tomorrow, she told Asha. You'll stay here with your aunt for now. After she left, I called Margaret. CPS is investigating. What's next? Emergency custody hearing. I'll file today. Be prepared. Tom will fight hard. That evening, Anya posted on social media a long, rambling post about how some people didn't understand culture and tradition, how the younger generation was too soft, how certain family members were trying to destroy their heritage. The comments started immediately. Some supported her. Others asked questions. I screenshotted everything. Tulika called me. I saw Anya's post. I'm ready to testify if you need me. Thank you, I said, tears pricking my eyes. We should have stopped this years ago, she said. I'm sorry it took Asha getting hurt for us to act. More women from the family started reaching out. Private messages about their own Red Week experiences, photos of stained clothes they'd kept as reminders, medical records from infections and anxiety diagnoses. Tom showed up the next morning with paperwork. Custody agreement, he said, shoving it at me. You have no legal right to keep her. I didn't take the papers. Margaret filed for emergency custody yesterday. His face went purple. You can't do this. I can and I am. She's my daughter, not yours. Then act like her father instead of her abuser. He stepped toward me. I stepped back and started recording on my phone. Tom, you're on camera. Think carefully. He stopped. You always were a troublemaker. Even during your own Red Week, you complained the whole time. Because it was wrong then, and it's wrong now. It made you stronger. It made me terrified. It made Rebecca leave you. It's hurting your daughter. Anya knows what's best for Asha. She's raising her right. Anya is abusing her and you're letting it happen. He stormed off. I saved the video and sent it to Margaret. That afternoon, Anya called an emergency family meeting. The mass text went out to 50+ relatives. Important family discussion about our traditions and values. Mandatory attendance. I wasn't invited, but Tulika promised to record everything. While they met, I took Asha shopping. She needed clothes since she'd only grabbed pajamas. We wandered through Target, filling a cart with necessities. Aunt Sarah, she said quietly, holding up a package of pads. Can I get the good ones? Anya always bought the cheapest kind and said I should be grateful for even those. I threw 3 packages of the best ones in the cart. Get whatever you want, sweetheart. My phone buzzed constantly. Updates from Tulika. Anya was painting me as mentally unstable, bitter about my divorce, trying to destroy the family from the inside. She's saying you coached Asha to lie, Tulika texted, that you've always been jealous of her marriage to Tom. I showed Asha. She laughed bitterly. Jealous? Of being married to Dad? He lets her control everything. We got ice cream on the way home. Asha smiled for the first time in days. That night, Margaret called. Hearing is set for next week. Tom hired Theodorson and Associates. The expensive firm? Very expensive. Be prepared for them to play dirty. I looked at Asha curled up on my couch, finally safe, finally relaxed. Let them try. The next 2 weeks were filled with CPS interviews, lawyer meetings, family members choosing sides. My mother called daily, begging me to drop everything. Tom sent legal threats. Anya continued her social media campaign, but more women kept coming forward. Rebecca finally broke her silence with a detailed email about her marriage to Tom. 3 teenage cousins admitted they'd experienced Red Week at sleepovers at Anya's house. One still had photos of the impossible task lists. She made us clean her entire basement with toothbrushes, one wrote. Said we couldn't have products until every inch was spotless. It took 14 hours. I compiled everything into a folder for Margaret. Medical Medical records, therapy notes, photos, testimonies. The evidence grew thicker every day. The night before the hearing, Anya made her biggest mistake. She showed up at my house at 10 p.m. pounding on the door. "I know you're in there," she screamed. "You've poisoned Asha against me, against our family." I started recording through the window. Asha hid in her room. "You're nothing but a bitter divorced woman," Anya continued. "You couldn't handle Red Week because you're weak, just like your whole side of the family. Please leave," I called through the door. "You're trespassing. I'll leave when you give me back my daughter." "She's not your daughter." Anya kicked my door. "She will be. Tom and I are going to adopt her properly. Show her what a real family looks like." I called 911. Anya was still screaming when the police arrived. They made her leave but didn't arrest her. I sent the video to Margaret immediately. "Perfect," Margaret replied. "She just made our case for us." The morning of the hearing, I dressed carefully. Professional, but not trying too hard. Asha wore the new outfit we'd bought, looking older than her 16 years. The courthouse smelled like floor wax and anxiety. Tom and Anya sat on one side with their expensive lawyers. We sat on the other with Margaret. The judge entered and we all stood. My heart hammered as I watched Tom whisper urgently to his lawyer. Anya sat rigid, her perfectly manicured nails digging into her designer purse. "Your Honor," Tom's lawyer began smoothly, "we're requesting immediate dismissal. My client's sister has no legal standing to pursue custody of his daughter." Margaret stood. "Your Honor, we have documented evidence of systematic abuse. The child fled her father's home in fear and alleged abuse," Tom's lawyer interrupted, "based entirely on the word of a troubled teenager and her aunt who has a history of mental instability following her divorce." I felt my face burn. Margaret touched my arm, keeping me seated. The judge reviewed the initial filings. After 20 minutes of legal arguments, she made her decision. "Given the serious nature of these allegations, I'm granting a temporary protective order. The child will remain with her aunt pending full investigation. We'll reconvene in 2 weeks." Tom shot to his feet. "2 weeks? She's my daughter." "Sit down, Mr. Patel," the judge warned. Outside the courthouse, Anya cornered me by the parking garage. "You think you've won? You have no idea what I'm capable of." I kept walking. Behind me, I heard Tom trying to calm her down. That afternoon, the real battle began. Anya called another emergency family meeting, this time at the Devi family matriarch's house. My grandmother-in-law, who everyone called Nani, commanded absolute respect in the family. At 92, her word was law. Tulika attended and texted me updates. "Anya's crying, saying you're destroying the family. Nani looks angry." An hour later, "Tom just told everyone you're mentally unstable, that you never recovered from your divorce." Then, "Anya's showing edited recordings. You sound unhinged." My stomach churned. I'd suspected she was recording our conversations, but editing them? I called my tech-savvy neighbor Marcus, who worked in audio engineering. "Can you tell if recordings have been edited?" I asked. "Usually, yeah. Bring me the files if you can get them." That evening, 3 family members unfriended me on social media. My cousin Priya, who'd supported me initially, sent a cold text. "I can't be involved in this anymore. Nani is furious." The next morning, CPS showed up for a surprise visit. A different caseworker this time, a stern man named Richard. "We've received concerning reports about your fitness as a guardian," he said, clipboard in hand. "I need to inspect the home and interview the child alone." My hands shook as I let him in. Asha looked terrified when he asked to speak with her privately. I waited in the kitchen, every minute feeling like an hour. When they emerged, Richard's expression was unreadable. "I'll be in touch," was all he said. That afternoon, Tom's lawyer sent a thick packet. They were demanding immediate return of Asha, claiming I was guilty of custodial interference. Attached were affidavits from 6 family members stating I was unstable and had always been jealous of Anya. Margaret called after reviewing everything. "They're building a case that you're the abuser, not them. We need more concrete evidence." The other girls who experienced Red Week are now refusing to testify. I've gotten 3 calls today from families retracting their statements. My heart sank. Nani got to them. Appears so, but don't panic. We still have options. That night, Asha couldn't sleep. She sat at my kitchen table staring at her phone. Dad texted me 18 times. Anya sent voice messages saying I'm breaking Nani's heart. I took her phone gently. "You don't have to read those. What if they're right? What if I am destroying the family?" "No, sweetheart. They destroyed it when they chose tradition over your safety." The next day brought a new crisis. I got a call from my supervisor at work. "Sarah, I need to see you in my office. Now." My stomach dropped. When I arrived, HR was waiting. "We've received a formal complaint," my supervisor said uncomfortably, "about erratic behavior and missed work. I've taken 3 days for a family emergency. The complaint includes documentation of multiple incidents." The HR representative slid papers across the desk. "Apparently you've been making threatening phone calls during work hours." I recognized Anya's handiwork immediately. Timestamps of calls I'd never made. Reports of behavior that never happened, all signed by Tom as a concerned family member. "This is fabricated," I said. "My brother's wife is trying to—" "We have to investigate," HR interrupted. "You're suspended pending review." I left the building in a daze. Without my job, fighting for custody would be even harder. Anya had thought of everything. At home, I found Asha in tears. 3 girls from school texted me. Anya contacted their parents, told them I'm a bad influence. Maya's mom won't let her talk to me anymore. I held her as she sobbed. Anya was systematically isolating us. That evening, Rebecca finally called. Tom's first wife had been silent since her initial email. "I'm sorry," she said immediately. "I want to help, but Tom knows things about my current husband's business. He threatened to destroy us financially if I testify." "Rebecca, please. You know what they're doing to Asha." "I know. God, I know. But I have my own children to protect now." Her voice broke. "I'm sending you something. Check your email. But I can't do more than that." The email contained photos, medical records from her emergency room visit during Red Week 20 years ago. She'd developed a severe kidney infection from being denied products. The hospital notes mentioned unusual circumstances and possible neglect. It was evident evidence, but without Rebecca's testimony, its impact was limited. The next morning, Tulika showed up at my door looking haggard. "I can't keep spying for you. Nani called me last night. If I don't support the family, she'll cut me off. My daughter's college tuition." I understood. The Devi family's matriarch controlled significant wealth. Many relatives depended on her financial support. "But," Tulika continued, "I recorded the last family meeting." She handed me a USB drive. Anya admits to editing those recordings. She was bragging about how clever she was. I hugged her fiercely. "Thank you. Delete this after you use it. I was never here." Marcus analyzed the audio that afternoon. "Oh yeah, these are definitely edited. Choppy transitions, inconsistent background noise. I can write up a technical report for your lawyer." Finally, some good news, but it was short-lived. That evening, police showed up at my door. 2 officers with stern expressions. "Ma'am, we need to ask you some questions about threatening messages sent to Mrs. Anya Patel." "What messages?" They showed me printouts. Horrible, violent threats sent from an email address similar to mine. The IP address traced to a coffee shop I'd been to last week. "I didn't send these," I said. "Someone's setting me up. We'll need you to come to the station." Asha watched wide-eyed as I grabbed my purse. "Call Margaret," I told her. "Tell her what's happening." 4 hours at the police station. Margaret arrived halfway through, shutting down the questioning. "My client won't answer anything else without evidence of an actual crime." The officers eventually let me go with a warning, but the damage was done. Another mark against me in the custody battle. Asha grew more anxious with each incident. "Maybe I should just go back," she said one night. "This is all my fault." "No, absolutely not. This is what they want, to wear us down." But we were both exhausted. The constant attacks, the legal bills mounting, the family pressure. I'd spent half my savings already on lawyer fees. Then came the breakthrough we desperately needed. A young woman named Mira contacted me through the group chat. She was Anya's former student from her previous school. I saw the news about her losing her teaching position. I've been waiting years for someone to stand up to her. Mira had documented everything. Anya had implemented a version of Red Week in her classroom, denying bathroom passes to girls on their periods, unless they completed extra assignments. Several parents had complained, but Anya had talked her way out of it. Mira had kept copies of everything. "She did this to 12 and 13-year-olds, Mira said. "Made us announce when we had our periods. Public humiliation if we couldn't finish her impossible assignments." Margaret was ecstatic. "This establishes a pattern outside the family. It's huge." But Anya must have suspected something. The next day, Tom filed an emergency motion claiming I was coaching witnesses. His lawyer submitted affidavits from 2 family members saying they'd seen me bribing people to lie. The hearing was brutal. Tom's lawyer painted me as a vindictive woman using my niece to get revenge on my ex-husband's family. They brought up my DUI from college, my divorce, even therapy notes from my 20s that somehow they'd obtained. "Ms. Patel has a history of mental health issues," the lawyer stated. "She's projecting her own trauma onto an innocent cultural practice." Margaret fought back hard. She presented Marcus's analysis of the edited recordings, showed the threatening messages I'd supposedly sent were from times I was provably elsewhere, introduced Mira's evidence about Anya's behavior at school. The judge looked overwhelmed. "This is becoming a circus," she said. "I'm ordering family counseling for all parties and a full psychological evaluation of everyone involved." Outside, Tom approached. For a moment, his lawyer's mask slipped. "Sarah, please, just let this go. Come to Sunday dinner. We'll work it out as a family. Like Rebecca worked it out? Like all the other women who suffered in silence?" His face hardened again. "You're going to lose. Anya's pregnant. No judge will take Asha away from a stable 2-parent home expecting a baby. Pregnant." I felt the ground shift. This changed everything. Judges favored intact families, especially with new babies. Our case suddenly looked much weaker. That night, I found Asha writing in a journal. "For therapy," she explained. "I'm documenting everything I remember about Red Week. Not just mine, but what I saw happen to other girls." I read over her shoulder. Detailed accounts of 3 younger cousins Anya had trained during sleepovers. Girls as young as 11 forced to scrub floors, clean gutters, organize the garage, all while bleeding through their clothes. One of them was Nani's great-granddaughter, Asha said. "Ria. She's only 12. Maybe if Nani knew what really happened." It was a long shot, but worth trying. The family matriarch had started Red Week, but would she approve of how extreme it had become? I reached out to Ria's mother carefully. She was married to Nani's favorite grandson. If anyone could get through to the matriarch, it might be her. The response was swift and unexpected. Ria's mother, Kavya, called me crying. "I didn't know. Ria never told me. She's been having nightmares wetting the bed. I thought it was stress from school." Kavya had found Ria's hidden diary, pages describing her weekend at Anya's house, the impossible cleaning tasks, being denied products for 18 hours, bleeding through her clothes, and Anya making her stand in the corner as punishment for weakness. "She's 12, Kavya kept saying. 12 years old. The psychological evaluations were scheduled for the following week. Dr. Patricia Hendricks would assess everyone involved. Tom and Anya went first, presenting themselves as loving parents maintaining cultural traditions. I went next, trying to stay calm while explaining the abuse disguised as tradition. Asha's evaluation took 3 hours. She came out exhausted but relieved. I told her everything. She listened, really listened. While we waited for results, the family drama intensified. Nani called a meeting specifically about Ria. Kavya had confronted her with the diary. For the first time, the matriarch seemed shaken. Tulika, risking everything, attended and reported back. Nani's questioning Anya directly. Anya's trying to say Ria misunderstood, but Kavya's not backing down. Then the recording Tulika had given me proved invaluable. Marcus had isolated a section where Anya explicitly discussed making young girls suffer like we did, but worse because they're weaker than we were. I sent it to Kavya. She played it at the family meeting. The room exploded. Younger mothers who'd been silent started speaking up. Stories poured out. Not just about Red Week, but about Anya's escalating control and cruelty, how she'd turned a harsh tradition into something sadistic. Nani, The iron matriarch who'd ruled the family for decades stood up shakily. "This is not what I intended," she said quietly. "Red Week was meant to build strength, not break spirits." It wasn't an apology exactly, but it was a crack in the foundation. Tom tried damage control, claiming Anya was just overzealous. But more stories emerged. A cousin revealed Anya had made her 10-year-old daughter clean bathroom grout with a toothbrush for 9 hours. Another said Anya had taken photos of girls in blood-stained clothes as motivation for next time. The private investigator Anya had hired made an unexpected appearance at my door. A middle-aged woman named Patricia, who looked uncomfortable. "I need to speak with you, privately." We sat in my car. Patricia pulled out a file. "I was hired to dig up dirt on you, but what I found instead?" She showed me photos of Anya meeting with various family members, clearly coaching them. Records of payments to 2 cousins who'd provided false affidavits. "I have a daughter. What this woman is doing, I can't be part of it." She handed me the entire file. "I told Mrs. Patel I couldn't find anything on you. This is everything I gathered on her instead." The evidence was damning. Anya had systematically bribed and threatened family members. She'd created false documentation about my mental health. She'd even planned to plant substances in my car before Patricia had refused. Dr. Hendrick's report arrived the day before our next hearing. Margaret read it to me over the phone, her voice triumphant. "Asha shows clear signs of trauma consistent with abuse. You're described as a stable, appropriate guardian. But here's the key. Dr. Hendricks is deeply concerned about Anya's psychological profile. Terms like controlling, manipulative, and lacks empathy appear multiple times." The report on Tom was equally damaging. Enabler, passive in the face of abuse, prioritizes family reputation over child welfare. Armed with this new evidence, we prepared for what we hoped would be the final hearing. But Anya had one more card to play. The morning of the hearing, social media exploded. A video of me from college, hammered at a party, making jokes about the Devi family traditions. Anya had somehow found 20-year-old footage and edited it to make me look like I'd always hated their culture. "Don't panic," Margaret said. "We have truth on our side." But I could see the doubt in some faces. Had I always been biased? Was I really protecting Asha or just getting revenge? As we walked into the courthouse, I saw Tom and Anya with their lawyers. Anya's pregnancy was now visible, her hand resting on her belly, a calculated gesture for the judge's benefit. Behind them stood Nani, the family matriarch. My heart sank. Despite everything, she was here to support them. But as we entered the courtroom, Nani did something unexpected. She walked past Tom and Anya and sat behind us. The entire room seemed to hold its breath. "I was wrong," she said quietly, just loud enough for me to hear. "What I started, Anya has twisted into something cruel. Save my great-granddaughter." The hearing began. Both sides presented their evidence. Tom's lawyer tried to dismiss Patricia's investigation as unreliable. Margaret countered with the recorded evidence, the psychological evaluations, and testimony from Mira about Anya's pattern of abuse in professional settings. Then Kavya entered with Ria. The 12-year-old looked terrified but determined. The judge agreed to hear her testimony in chambers, away from the intimidating courtroom. We waited 40 minutes. When they emerged, the judge looked grim. Ria had shown her the diary, the photos Anya had taken, and described her experience in detail. "I've heard enough," the judge announced. "Based on the evidence presented, I'm granting temporary full custody to Sarah Patel. Tom Patel will have supervised visitation only, pending completion of parenting classes and family therapy. Anya Patel is prohibited from any contact with the minor child." Anya shot to her feet. "You can't do this! I'm pregnant! She's going to be a sister!" "Control yourself, Mrs. Patel," the judge warned. "This is all her fault." Anya pointed at me. "She's destroyed our family, turned everyone against us." Tom tried to calm her, but Anya shoved him away. "You're weak, just like your first wife. I tried to fix this family to maintain traditions." "Mrs. Patel, you need to leave the courtroom," the judge ordered. Security moved toward her. Anya grabbed her purse, glaring at me with pure hatred. "This isn't over."